fellas good for Vouilloz.
The Mountain Bike World Cup.
With the Volvo V70 cross-country all-wheel drive.
Hello and welcome to Eurosport with me, Mark Bicycle, for the penultimate round of the Tissot-UCI Mountain Bike World Cup from Kaprun in Austria. We have the seventh round of the downhill and the duel at this classic course. The duel providing loads and loads of fun, always exciting. Unfortunately, the winner of the duel from the previous 2 years in the women's racing, not here today. Katrina Miller, the Australian, not racing. She's been out earlier in the season, but the leader of the men's duel here today, B.Lopes, a Volvo Cannondale rider, and indeed his teammate in the women's duel, and A.Chausson. Kaprun, a classic course, both the duel and the downhill. Conditions sunny, 29 degrees, no wind, practically perfect for racing. Always good crowds here in Austria. This event always coincides with the beer festival that they have here in Kaprun, and there's much fun to be had. But the first two riders we are seeing in the consolation final, Lee Donovan, the rider on your right-hand side of the screen, and Sarah Steiger, the Swiss rider. Sarah recently coming third in the European Duel Championships in Vouilloz in France, out in front of Lee Donovan, who's come third 3 times this season, but she doesn't look like she will be able to catch up Sarah Steiger. Steiger, not really a dual rider. She's only ridden a couple of the World Cup rounds, but went into those Europeans and gets third here today. Good riding from her. She really should race a great deal more often here. A good ride from Steiger to take third place here. We look at the final now. Tara Yanis against Anne-Caroline Chausson, the dual World Cup leader. She has won every race she's competed in so far this season. Chausson on the left-hand side of your screen. She's won 5 out of 6 races so far. Tara Yanis riding for Subaru Specialized. Now on the right-hand side of your screen, it looks like Caro going through. I think it looked like Tara was giving the nod to Caro to go through before her. Surprising, therefore, for both these riders, former BMX riders, and indeed Caroline Chausson got a good gap now on Tara Yanis. She really has dominated this discipline. She is the world champion in duel, and indeed the downhill world champion, and takes the penultimate round here in Kaprun. Good riding from Anne-Caroline. She really has been so dominant. Beat Lee Donovan in the semi-finals, and good racing. Confirmation of the result there. Caro first, Yanis second, Steiger third, Donovan in fourth. And Caroline is saying that when I tried duel for the first time, I hoped to do well, but I never expected to win all the races like I did so far this season. But in the beginning, I only did the duel for the jumps. I love jumping, but it changed my ideas a bit. And sometimes I had some problems with the downhill, and the duel basically made me feel a bit better about the weekend. But Anne-Caroline, the finals, the standings so far with just 1 round to go. She's so dominant, but still the second and third place is up for grabs. Yanis in second at the moment, Donovan in third, and Johnnier in fourth. And the podium on the women's duel there with Anne-Caroline on the top step. So straight into the men's duel. Wade Boots, the world champion, recently crowned in Sierra Nevada in Spain, on the fastest lane on the right-hand, on the left-hand side as you look at it, but on the right-hand as the riders come down, against Eric Carter, the Team GT rider, who won here last year and then won here in the finals last year in Kaprun, and took the overall dual world title ahead of B.Lopes, and he's going to have to ride hard to chase back on Bootsy now. Bootsy, such a strong rider, good jumper as well, former BMX world champion indeed, raced against Eric Carter in BMX. Eric been on the dual downhill scene a lot longer than Bootsy, but Bootsy showing his skill there. He's such a stocky, strong rider. Good racing from Bootsy. Now the final, the men's final between the leader of the duel, and his team against his teammate Brian Lopes on the left-hand side of your screen. Cedric Gracier, both Volvo Cannondale riders. Cedric won his first round of the duel this season, earlier this season, but Brian has won 5 out of 6 races. He's so fast. Doesn't tend to jump a great deal unless he has to, but is such a good bike handler. But Cedric Gracier not giving up. I think he's going to try a pass now. But he was far too far behind there. Good riding from Lopesy. Got out in front. He's such a good front runner. Takes his 6th win out of 7. My word. Someone is going to have to ride pretty damn hard to take over from Lopesy in the duel. He won the first ever dual World Cup in 1998. And it looks like, well, indeed, he's going to win it again this year in 2000. But the confirmation of the result, Lopes in first, Gracier second, Boots in third, Eric Carter in 4th.
It was a pretty tight battle today, and I'm just happy that me and Cedric were both in the finals together. You know, it's great for Volvo Cannondale, and it's great to have your teammate and your friend in the final with you.
Podium there, 2 Volvo Cannondale riders, and the standings indeed. Lopesy has won this title for the 2nd time. Cedric Gracier is in 2nd, Bootsy is in 3rd. That's still all to play for. But the 2 dual titles wrapped up by the big conglomerate, the big team, Volvo Cannondale. Excellent riding from Brian Lopes. We're taking a short break. Join me after that. Welcome back to Eurosport with me, Mark Biesiegel. We have just watched the penultimate round of the Dual World Cup. We have got the women's and the men's downhill to come on this super fast course here in Kaprun. Last year, it rained for the final starters in both the men's and the women's racing. This year, conditions absolutely perfect. Kaprun has always been a very long course, actually, over the years. It's ranged from about 8 minutes down to about 6, but conditions, as they were in the duel, sunny, warm, no wind. We're just going to take a look at the course with Team GT's Steve Peat lying 2nd overall in the men's downhill World Cup, 2nd behind the leader, Nicolas Vouilloz. Steve really has to win here and hope that Vouilloz doesn't get into the top 5 to have a chance of winning the World Cup. He was 2nd last year. There's a confirmation of the course details. It's 4.3 kilometres long. It's a little bit shorter than it was last year, about half a kilometre. It drops by about 800 metres. It's a very fast course. 66% of the course is fast, 34% technical. It starts at 1,500 metres. Here's Steve.
That course, how was it? It's fast, it's really hard. There's some huge jumps coming down. It's just fun. You jump so far. The top's really hard. It's pretty slick, really slippery. Lots of tree roots, and it's hard on your body. Pretty tired by the end.
What a perfect description of the course here in Kaprun. Top 6, basically you can sort of divide it into 3. As we look at the women's standings, Anne-Caroline a long way in front of Missy Giove. Cacciaripo equally a fairly long way behind Missy in 3rd. Missy really does need to win here, but we go to the 18th fastest qualifier, Lee Donovan, the Schwinn Toyota rider. Surprisingly 18th in qualifying this morning. As I was saying, this course basically divides into 3. It's bermed and slippery and quite slow at the top of the course, rooty, then goes into a flatter, faster part on the middle, and then lots of jumps, grassy jumps, very fast at the bottom. And Lee Donovan faster than anyone before her at that intermediate check, roughly about 2/3 of the way down this 4.3 kilometre course. Lots of jumps now coming down into the bottom of this Kaprun course. Conditions really are perfect here. And the time that Lee Donovan took this morning was just about 7 minutes, just over 7 minutes, and she smashes that, goes into the lead with 6:28, just about 34 seconds faster. That is the benchmark for the rest of the women. Lee, who won the round in Maribor, round 3, as we look at Marielle Sena, the hot chili rider, who's had an average season, really. The rider who was second in the World Championships in 1997. She's a bit slower at that intermediate mark than Lee Donovan. A.Chausson was 9th in the World Cup last year. Had a poor run in Kaprun here last year, only 22nd, but she was one of the last riders to ride in the rain. Basically, about 8 of the women's riders rode in the rain. The fastest 8 rode in the rain last year, and that put a lot of them down. And A.Chausson now, she moves into second, but she's just about 4.3 seconds slower than that woman, Lee Donovan. The 1995 world champion, as we look at Missy Jobe making a mistake there in the woods, high up on this course. And again, another mistake on that slippery route then, the back end just flicking out. But of any of these riders, Missy is able to make up for those slight little mistakes because she rides so hard. She won the round after Lee Donovan. Indeed, in fact, she's faster than Lee Donovan at the intermediate mark, just about 2.3 seconds faster, the Vouilloz rider. Lee Donovan won the 4th round of the World Cup this year in Monson, and whoa, big jump there, landing on the front wheel, and I think Missy Jobe might be taking the lead from Lee Donovan here. She's looking very fast indeed, as she always does. She never not tries 100%, and she is faster. 5:45 faster, 6:23.47. What a brilliant run from Missy Jobe. Superb stuff from Missy. Missy was 3rd fastest in the semis this morning. Looks like that's taken a lot out of her. And the woman who was 2nd fastest was Britain's very own European champion for the year 2000, Tracy Mosley. What a ride that was in the European Championships at Vouilloz. And she's only 4/10 slower than Missy Jobe at that intermediate mark. Tracy has basically been studying for a degree all of this season and has only really played around. She came 8th at Cortina in round 2, and it looks like Tracy is going very well here. She hasn't ridden any other rounds of the World Cup. She had a long period. Oh, she's just lost her footing on the pedal there. Oh, that is unfortunate for Tracy. What a mistake. She was going so well and just walks her bike over the line. What is the time? 11:66 slower. She's 5th fastest, even with that mistake. My word. Well, I hope she's not too badly hurt. What a great run from Tracy, the European downhill champion from the year 2000. As we look at A.Chausson, the fastest woman from the qualifiers this morning. Her time was 6:25.77 in the qualifiers, and she's a lot faster at the intermediate mark. The woman who has won the dual World Cup and looks like she's on course to win yet another round of the downhill World Cup. She's already won 4 races so far this season. Will she make it a 5th here in Kaprun with just 1 race to go? She likes jumping, she likes fast speeds, and she's very fast indeed. I think she's going to take it. She is indeed. Just about 6 seconds, 6 minutes 17 seconds. My word, 5 race wins for A.Chausson. Being congratulated there by Missy Jobe. What a run from the French woman. Great run indeed. Confirmation of that result there. Caro in 1st, Missy in 2nd, Donovan 3rd, Saina in 4th, Sabrina Johnnier in 5th, Britain's Tracy Mosley, her best result in 6th, Helen Mortimer in 7th. Good result from Helen as well. Superb stuff, and this is A.Chausson, yet another win. She says, I don't know how to explain it. I did the best I could, and despite some mistakes, I'm just 6 seconds ahead. I'm really satisfied. She'd just been asked, did she like the course? Was it good? She said, it's much more physical than last year. It's dry all over it. In the lower part, you can ride very fast. And there's big jumps, while there's just lots of routes in the upper section with big turns, and it's very slippery as well. It's 2 courses in one, actually. I prefer the first part, but it's a great course. Very nice. Well, that's very different from last year, because A.Chausson did not like this course last year. And I think they've made some changes that have made it a lot better. In fact, she's contradicting what I said. This course was 3 parts. It's basically 2, according to her. Very slippery and rooty up top, very fast down below. And there you have confirmation of the standings. A.Chausson cannot be beaten for this year's World Cup. Missy in 2nd spot. But the woman there, very happy about her result today. Good riding indeed from A.Chausson. Kaprun in 3rd in the women's. Sabrina Jeannier in fourth, with Lee Donovan with that third place today. She moves up to fifth spot. Britain's Helen Mortimer in seventh. Great result for the British women. 5 women in the top 18 here in Kaprun. Got to mention Adele Croxton, Helen Gaskell and Karen van Meerbeek. Great racing from them. Good to see the British women here in Kaprun. But another fabulous run here for Caroline A.Chausson and Helen Mortimer. I've got the British women on my mind. But there you have the standings in the men's competition in the Tissot-UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. Nicolas Vouilloz leads Steve Peat. It's been a battle all the way for those guys. As we look at Fabien Barrel, the first man we are going to see. The man who won the 4th round of the World Cup in Mont St. Anne, the Team GT rider, the teammate of Britain's Steve Peat, the former junior world champion from 1998. He won that title in Mont St. Anne, and then of course he won his first ever World Cup race in Mont St. Anne this year. He's quicker at the intermediate mark than any other rider before him. 1.65 seconds, and he takes some course tape with him as he takes that jump on the bottom part of this course. Fabien Barrel, 9th spot in the previous round in Arai in Japan. Fabien Barrel coming down into the finish area now. I'm sure this is going to put him into first spot. It is indeed 2.49 faster than the previous fastest rider. Fabien Barrel is up there in first at the moment as we look at his teammate, Eric Carter. Eric Carter qualifying 9th this morning, having a good season so far. Eric qualifying with a time of 5:56.52, and he's slower at the intermediate mark than Fabien Barrel. Barrel was a lot slower in the semis this morning with just over 6 minutes as we see Eric coming down the course now. Eric has been doing so well in the downhill standings now. He used to be known as more of a dual and a BMX rider. Oh, wait, coming into that finish really fast for Eric Carter. His time, very, very good indeed, 5:41.18. Just a bit slower than Fabien Barrel as we look at Greg Minaar, the Flying Krugerrand, the Animal Orange rider. Had a fabulous result at the 5th round in Vale. That was his best ever, and the first time an African male had been on the podium. 5th spot in Vale, just about 4 seconds slower than Steve Peat, who won then, taking big air. Greg Minaar, this man holds the South African record for jumping over buses. He did that at the age of 14, jumped 16 cars, and he is faster than Barrel, over 1 second faster, 5:38.70. Greg Minaar going into first spot. What a brilliant run for him. We're going to take a short break. Join me after that break for the rest of the men's downhill.
The Mountain Bike World Cup.
With the Volvo V70 cross-country all-wheel drive.
Welcome back to Eurosport for the finals of the men's downhill. We are looking at Nicolas Vouilloz, the leader of the Tissot-UCI Downhill World Cup. The man who has won 3 races previous to this one here in Kaprun. And what are his other positions? 3 times second. The man is so consistent. Was very, very unhappy about losing his World Championships in Sierra Nevada this year. The first time he's never won a World Championships. And he actually admitted after that he was very, very flat, but he is faster now than anyone else has been on this Kaprun course, this 4.3-kilometre course. He is fast at that intermediate mark. Nicolas Vouilloz, who has won here before. He won in 1998. As we look at Greg Minaar on the left-hand side of your screen, Nicolas Vouilloz coming down in the bottom part of the course. He is a super fast rider now. Nicolas Vouilloz, 4.39 seconds faster than anybody else, 5:34.31. Nicolas Vouilloz goes into the lead as his arch rival, the British rider, the Team GT rider, Steve Peat, moves off of the start line. Steve really has to go a lot faster now. He must win here if he has any chance of wresting that title away from Nicolas Vouilloz. Steve actually qualified fastest here last year, but then was one of the unfortunate 13 riders to ride in the rain in the final run. eventually finishing in 14th spot, which was not enough to take the title away from Nicolas Vouilloz last year. And indeed, we're back again in the same scenario in the year 2000. He's just about 1.21 slower than Nicolas Vouilloz. Steve really does need to motor now on the bottom part of this course. He won the 5th round in Vale. He wants to win here in Kaprun. He does like this course, the Team GT rider, the European champion. He beat Nicolas Vouilloz at Vouilloz in France, but he's not going to do it here. Just under 2/10 slower, 5:34.49, and I think Vouilloz realises that he may now have won the World Cup for the year 2000. Gets a kiss from his girlfriend, and I think Steve is unhappy about that. As we go back up to the top of the course with David Vasquez-Lopez. Steve Peat was 4th fastest this morning. Vasquez 3rd fastest with just 2 riders to go after Vasquez. Vasquez, the winner of the 1st round in Leger, and takes huge air there. The Subaru Specialized rider has had a very, very consistent season so far. Really, Vasquez, Peat and Vouilloz have been much better than anybody else, and 3rd spot at the moment, just over 4/10 slower than Vouilloz, and a little bit slower than Steve Peat. We go to the 2nd man in qualifying this morning. Quick Mick, Michael Pascal, the B1 rider, former teammate of Nicolas Vouilloz, and makes a mistake there. When will this guy win a World Cup round? He has qualified first on numerous occasions, but has not transferred that sort of form into the final round. He's such a brilliant rider, a former junior world champion. He really needs to break his duck in the World Cup. He's good enough to. He just needs to relax in the final round, but he's 4.5 seconds slower at that intermediate mark. I'm not surprised, given those mistakes. Higher up on the course, Quick Mick looking good in the technical sections now. Just didn't hold it together on the rooty bits and takes big air like Vasquez did. He's got to beat that time set by Vouilloz, a time of 5:34.31. I don't think he's going to make up those 4.5 seconds on the bottom part of the course, and he doesn't indeed. Loses more, 5:41.25. Moves into 7th spot with just 1 rider to go. Basta-Beva, Michael Pascal's teammate on the B1 team. Bast has been fastest qualifier here in Kaprun 3 times now, including today. And he has never transferred that into a win. This is Bast's type of course. He loves a fast course. It's long. He's very, very fit. He's had a good season so far as well, has Bast. Currently lying in 6th spot before today's race. The B1 rider needs to motor. He can. He's very, very fit. Has only won 1 round of the World Cup. That was in South Africa in 1997, but he's slower at the intermediate mark. 5th fastest, 3.39 slower than the fastest rider. Bast needs to motor now. I don't think he's going to make up the time. He really can ride a lot faster than anybody else here in Kaprun. The man who has qualified fastest 3 times now, including today's race. Can he take his 2nd World Cup win? I don't think he's going to do that. It looks like Nicolas Vouilloz is going to win. Bast moves into 4th spot. Nicolas Vouilloz wins again. What a win for him. Steve Peat in 2nd. Basta-Beva in 4th spot with a time of 5:38.07. Nicolas Vouilloz realises he has won the World Cup. What a metronome. My goodness me. Steve Peat has come so close. As we look at confirmation of the final result, just under 2/10 slower. Vasquez in 3rd, Dabeva in 4th, Greg Minaar in 5th. A brilliant 10th spot for Britain's Will Longdon in 10th, Cedric Gracier in 9th, Pascal a final 8, Eric Carter in 7th. And Nicolas saying, oh wow, saying this, I don't understand it. I knew my opponents, I knew who my opponents were and their strengths, and I needed to be strong today to beat them. But I really did make quite a few mistakes, and but I really wanted to be fast. It's not like me to make mistakes. It's not my style. I prefer to be clean and efficient, and but I pushed it to the limit here today. And I wanted to make up the seconds that I believe that I lost, even the 10th of a second.
je suis vraiment content parce que
He treated my bike very hard. I didn't want to lose the win, and he says he knew it would be very tight in the World Cup, but
j'aime bien gagner, quoi. Donc voilà.
he said, I'm really happy. I needed to be second here in Kaprun to win the World Cup, but he's gone one better than that. He was first. Great ride from Nicolas Vouilloz. Well, I never won another World Cup round. He's now unbeatable. Steve Peat has got to make sure of that second spot ahead of Vasquez Lopez. Basta Beaver in fourth spot at the moment. Gerwin Peters in fifth. And there you have the guys on the podium. Well, great racing here in Kaprun. Always produces great racing, this classic course. And Caroline A.Chausson has wrapped up her third and fourth titles here, the dual World Cup overall, the downhill World Cup overall. Nicolas Vouilloz has wrapped up the men's downhill, but there's still a lot to play for. We have one more round. Join me, Mark Bicycle, for that in a couple of weeks' time.